Have you ever had to say goodbye to a four-legged friend? The years of companionship, the silly games, the unconditional love they give you, could all of it simply vanish into nothingness? This isn't a trivial question. It's a very real pain, a search for meaning that millions of us have experienced. An extensive survey from Pew Research conducted between 2023 and 2025 shows that as many as 57% of Americans believe that animals also have souls. But does this emotional belief have any foundation? And if their souls are real, where does their next journey take them? Is there some kind of heaven with green pastures waiting for them? Today, we will venture into one of the most gentle and profound mysteries, to examine what science, philosophy, and faith have to say about the afterlife of our animal friends. To answer the question of animal souls, we must first look at the bigger maps that humanity has drawn for the journey of the soul in general. We will explore three main paths a soul might take, and then see if our four-legged friends have a place on any of them. The first path, common in many Western religions, is one of an eternal destiny decided after a single lifetime. According to this view, after death, the human soul faces a judgment. Based on faith and the choices made in this life, the destination will be heaven, a state of perfect communion with the source of all love, or hell, a permanent self-exclusion from that presence. In this model, this life is a single test, and the result is eternal. The second path, the foundation of many Eastern philosophies, is the path of reincarnation and rebirth. Here, death is not an endpoint, but merely a transitional doorway. The soul, or stream of consciousness, is reborn into a new life, in a new body, which could be human or animal, depending on karma, the sum of all good and bad actions accumulated. This life is not a single test, but just one chapter in an endless book. The third path, the view of materialism, is the path that leads to complete annihilation. According to this, no soul exists independently of the brain. Consciousness is merely a byproduct of biochemical reactions. When the brain dies, consciousness vanishes. But this view is increasingly being challenged. Science has discovered a special stage of sleep called the dream stage, when the brain becomes extremely active, almost as if it were awake. Classic studies have shown that during this dream stage, animals also seem to be processing information and consolidating memories. More recent studies from 2024-2025 have further reinforced that this stage appears to help them with problem solving, a sign of a complex conscious life. This leads to a question. If consciousness is not as simple as we thought, is annihilation truly the end? Those three paths challenge us on the human soul. But now, let's return to the question that prompted us from the beginning. Where do the souls of our pets go? Do they have a place on these paths? In the Eastern view of reincarnation, the answer is quite clear. Animals are an integral part of the cycle of rebirth. They can be a life that a soul must experience, and they can also be reborn into another life form. But what about in other belief systems? This is where modern discoveries become incredibly interesting. The New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness, first announced in 2024, reached a landmark conclusion. Leading scientists concluded that there is strong evidence for the existence of consciousness, the ability to feel pain and pleasure in all mammals and birds, and a realistic possibility in fish, reptiles, and even insects. They are not just biological machines, they have an inner life. Classical materialism would say that this consciousness will also dissolve. But a branch of modern philosophy called Panpsychism offers another hypothesis. If consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, then when a creature dies, its consciousness doesn't disappear, but simply gets reintegrated into the greater cosmic consciousness. In Christianity, the story is even more profound. While tradition has held that the immortal soul is reserved for humans, modern theologians like C.S. Lewis have speculated that a human's love could lift a pet soul into eternity. But an even more powerful idea comes from a branch of religious philosophy known as soul-making. Writings in publications like the International Journal for Philosophy of Religion have explored the idea that if animals possess consciousness and suffer innocently in this world, then a just and loving God would be obligated to grant them some form of heaven as compensation. The existence of an afterlife for animals is no longer a sentimental idea, but becomes a requirement of divine justice. From reincarnation to a new heaven and a new earth, we've seen where souls, whether human or animal, might go. But more importantly, this final part will share how these beliefs can profoundly shape our lives right here today. The question of the afterlife is not a distant philosophical exercise. It is a mirror that reflects our values. If you believe in a final judgment, it will urge you to live a responsible life, knowing that all actions have consequences. If you believe in reincarnation and karma, it will make you mindful of every word and deed, sowing good seeds for the future. And if you believe that even the most innocent creatures have a place in eternity, it will completely change how you treat them. You will see not just an animal, but a soul on its own journey. You will act with a deeper kindness and compassion because you know that the love you give will have an echo that resonates beyond this life. No matter which map you choose to believe in, they all point in one direction, that this life is not meaningless, that love is a cosmic force, and that how we live in this finite world will determine the nature of the eternity we are heading towards. So the final question is not, where will I go after I die? It is, knowing there is a journey ahead, how will I live right now? If animal souls truly exist and have a destiny after death, what would you change about the way you live starting today? Please share your thoughts so that we can continue to explore the latest research and newest perspectives on the consciousness of all beings. Thank you for listening. See you next time.